Hello everyone and welcome to Inside Elucid Data. I'm Gaurav Arya. I work as a senior engineering manager here, and today we are going to talk about how we are building the next generation of compute capabilities for our platform, Poly. We live in a digital world, a world where information and data are everywhere, data that is readily collected and at an ever growing pace. With such huge amounts of data available, enterprises are leaving no stone unturned to find the next big innovative solution to delight their customers. Biomedical data analysis is also one such field. The various strings of innovation in this field and many others are woven together by advancements in computing. And companies like Elucidata are at the forefront of ushering the next generation enterprise computing to accelerate biomedical data analysis for drug discovery and its other applications. Now, the question arises about the role of computation in biomedical data analysis and the domain specific challenges that we face. Research areas such as drug discovery, drug repurposing, and many other such fields rely heavily on biomedical data. And biomedical data, like any other research oriented data, is huge in size and usually very unstructured in nature. So, the first application of compute in biomedical data analysis is to get the data ready for running workflows. This includes cleaning the data, restructuring it, as well as curating it to a certain standard, and then ingesting it to our SaaS platform Poly. This requires large amount of computing resources. Now that the data is ready to use, the researchers can run their workflows on this data, and these workflows can utilize up to hundreds of terabytes of data at a time. And in order to handle and process such huge amounts of data, we need extraordinary computing power, which cannot be achieved by our laptops or desktop machines. This is why our SaaS platform Poly uses computing capabilities on the cloud and provides us and our customers with virtually unlimited resources to process this data. You might also be curious about how computation has evolved for biomedical data analysis or any research data analysis for that matter. And the answer is it started pretty small, processing on local machines like your laptops or desktops. And then it went on to on-premise servers when more resources were required. On-premise servers could be in series as well, providing higher amount of resources, and slowly migrating to cloud solutions like AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure, using virtual servers, and eventually on Kubernetes clusters. Even Kubernetes clusters do provide a large amount of computational resources, but there is a significant drawback. In all these cases, we need to move the data to the compute resources in order to process it. And this is where we are taking the next big step, taking the code and moving the code to the data and the compute power to the data instead of the other way around. In few words, we look at and we are inverting the process of biomedical data analysis. Now, how exactly do you do that? And the short answer is federated architecture. Federated architecture is an extension of decentralized architecture. And by decentralized architecture, I mean the underlying architecture of peer-to-peer networks. And yes, that is very similar to what Bitcoin and many blockchain products use. So the decentralized term acts as an umbrella term. The design is tweaked into a custom architecture, ideally implemented according to the case at hand. And the term federated in the general sense means a group of semi-autonomous entities exchanging information with each other. A real world example of this would be looking at different states of a country. They are managed by state governments. They are partially self-governing and exercise power to keep things running smoothly. And then those state governments can share information among each other, and also a central body or a central government, making it a complete federal system. This is just an example. The federated model from a technical standpoint is under continual research, development, and evolution. There are no standard rules. Developers and architects can have their own designs in place. After all, it's all decentralized. And so have we made some changes to the decentralized architecture and made it our own federal architecture for compute on Poly. Now, what about federated architecture on Poly? And as we talked before, the federated architecture might be tweaked a little bit, changed a little bit, depending on the architectural requirements, depending on the industry requirements. And so we have also done the same by modifying the federated architecture a little bit to suit the needs of our customers, to suit the need of the company. And to talk in detail about that, let's head over to our Miro board and let me demonstrate it diagrammatically. So as you can see here, this is a very simplified version of what we call compute on Poly. This in the center is our primary cluster, primary EKS cluster in the US region. And that's what takes care of all the jobs and all the applications that need to be run on the US region. Similarly, there are two other clusters, one in the European Union, one in Australia. For representation purposes, just 3 of them. There can be n number of more clusters that can work in tandem for our clients, for our jobs, for our applications. To understand the workflow, let's see, when a client sends in a request to launch a job, the request goes to the jobs service in the centrally located US cluster. This job service then determines whether this application has to run or this job has to run on US cluster or EU cluster or Australian cluster or some other cluster. And these dependent clusters like cluster 2 and cluster 3 could be client specific, or they could just be Elucidata's clusters spun up on requirement. So once the job service decides that a job has to be run on, let's say, the EU cluster, it spins up a pod for that particular job in EU cluster, and that job can access the data locally available in the data infra on that EU cluster, as well as workspaces on the EU cluster. The workspaces and data infra are other products of Elucidata that can also be deployed in a federated manner. Similarly, for notebooks, they can be spun up in multiple locations. And once it is started, once the job is started on another cluster or a notebook is started on another cluster, the control is solely with the native cluster. And the user can access the notebook or the job directly there. What does this mean for Poly and our customers? The federated architecture adds another dimension to Poly where it can provide more to our customers in terms of scale, performance, security, and much more with our compute on demand offering. It also means that it improves our capabilities on security and compliance fronts. There are cases where a certain data set needs to stay within a particular geographical region, or a client wants to keep the data as well as compute resources within their own cloud, or a client wants complete control over the billing of the workflows that they run. All these are use cases where the federated architecture is really useful. It allows our client to use the offerings on Poly in many different combinations of control and ownership. That adds a delight factor for them, and it's very important. Moreover, the federated architecture is not limited to just compute. It extends to most of the offerings on Poly like data infrastructure, workspaces, and even federated learning, where machine learning models are deployed to various data sets in a distributed manner over clusters that are globally located. And then we can aggregate the localized learning from all these locations to solve problems better and achieve higher accuracy on our tasks. And what does it take to build such a system? Now let's bear in mind that this is a very simplified representation of a complex system, and some of the details like security, performance, latency, access control, and even redundancy have been omitted for simplification purposes. All of these have to be considered and worked upon throughout the development life cycle, right from the planning phase. it is imperative that the correct access control is in place, the system is performant, and the security is airtight when the system is up and running. All the while making sure that these requirements do not add any unnecessary complexities to the system. After all, the simplest of solutions are usually the best ones. To build such a system, we obviously need talented people, people who have knowledge and experience of working on high performance, secure, scalable, and highly available systems. It also means that we need people who can think and find creative solutions to complex problems. Apart from this, we need to use the latest and cutting edge tools like Kubernetes, Terraform, Prometheus, Grafana, Rancher, Thanos, and also build our systems on top of platforms like Python, Node.js, Java, AWS Cloud, and more. We're always looking out to hire new and talented people. If you think you have what it takes to build such systems and find the work that we do here at Elucidata interesting, just drop us an email or a message and we'll take it from there. Well, this is all for this video about the next generation of computing capabilities at Elucidata. Thank you all for listening, and do watch this space for more exciting videos and content from inside Elucidata. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.